You're listening to Borderless Banter, a weekly podcast by hopefully soon to be two of your favorite people in the world, Jorge and Goody.
All right. Number 15. Welcome to another podcast. 15. Oh, yeah. That sound is pretty.
That was pretty good, right?
It's pretty good.
Oh, that one.
Not that one.
First time it was better.
That's right. Happy quinceañera, though, you know?
I've always wanted one.
Really? Have you ever been in a quinceañera party before?
I haven't. I've not.
Right. So, like, Madison, a quinceañera is I don't know if it's a Latin or is it just Mexican, just to be honest on that one.
That's fair.
But it's like when the 14-year-old girl becomes a woman, kind of, you present to society.
When she turns 15.
15.
Right.
That's what that is. And I said 14, but it's just like on the day off, that's like, you are a quinceañera. And there's a big party and usually have people dancing and you pick like the best, like 6 or 8 guys that want to dance with you and stuff like that. So it's a big deal though. You know, quinceañeras are a big deal.
So do guys get a...
No.
What?
We don't get anything though, you know? So like my sister did get a quinceañera, but my sister was like, I don't want any light stuff. So it was very like kind of nice and just on like upscale kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I didn't get anything, but I think when you're 16, you get a car or something like that. That's what that is. So I mean, it was just that, but I didn't get any of that. So that was it.
I also did not get a quinceañera.
Yeah.
I'm also not a 15-year-old Hispanic.
So no, that's right. I wonder like people say like, is Maddie gonna have a quinceañera? The answer is no, she's not.
She's not?
I know, but we should
So
make
I
her
still
like
can't fulfill my dream of attending a quinceañera?
No, that's correct. Maybe Kendall, but not really. But then like, is that Sweet 16 here though? Do we really celebrate Sweet 16?
I feel like, look, with the kids in my youth group, I feel like every birthday is a Sweet 16 the way they have. Like, they'll be like, oh, turning 12 today. And it'll be like, there's like a shopping spree and like pictures from this big old party. And
so you remember like there was an MTV show called Sweet 16?
Sweet 16, yeah.
And they were going crazy.
Holy
like,
moly, yeah.
Like, my daddy doesn't
Like
want to spend more than $300,000. And you're like, good for your dad. Your dad's smart.
My father only wants to buy me a Ferrari.
Hey, I just said this. Quinceañera is celebrated in Mexico, Latin America, and the Caribbean, as well as in Latino communities in the United States and elsewhere. So maybe also they celebrate Quinceañera in Dominican Republic. That's the Caribbean though, right?
That's a good question.
I mean, we can just find out. I'm excited about that one too. So numero 15, I cannot believe that. I mean, it feels good.
Yeah.
You know, it's dark. It feels great outside.
It does feel good outside. And tomorrow, all right, so for those of y'all who are just maybe jumping in, 15th episode, right now it's the very end of October, right? So tomorrow is literally the last day of October. And
Halloween.
It has been like hot here.
Yes.
We had our church, we had our fall festival.
It was great, by the way.
On October 28th, which was a Saturday. It went awesome, but the high was 85
Oh, my
degrees.
goodness. So I showed up thinking, hey, I need to dress up a little bit. So I got a sweater vest.
Yeah.
And it came off within the first 15 minutes.
I have sunburn from fall
It
festival.
was. And I was so glad that the church gave us some T-shirts because I switched to a T-shirt really fast.
Whoever came up with that idea
Brilliant.
must have been pretty awesome.
It was this guy. But I'm telling you, first of all, I don't wear T-shirts, right?
That's fair.
So I don't know why, but I don't like wearing T-shirts. And
But you've worn all the T-shirts that I've given you.
I know that's
And
right.
I've given you 3
because they're
now.
soft. They're really soft.
You're welcome.
No, you're keeping track on it. Well, yeah, they're really.
No, I only know that because all right. So Jorge is one of my small group leaders in our student ministry, and so at the beginning of this semester, I got all of our small group leaders and a lot of our other leaders within the student ministry, basically this goodie box. Not
Goodie
like,
box. I
not
love
like
it.
a goodie box, but just a box of goodies, and it had.
I'm so confused. I'm so confused.
Have to be a really big box. Shipping was a nightmare. And so, like each box had like a couple of books that we're reading as a group. Well, maybe reading as a group.
I am reading as a group. Yeah. I'm all caught up, so that's pretty good.
And so, like that, there's some of their favorite like foods or candies were.
I thought that was a great package, by the way. That was awesome.
2 brand new student ministry.
That was pretty good, and they're super soft. And I like those. You know, I usually wear them at home or something, but they're really soft. There's some T-shirts sometimes they're like so rigid, and you're like, I just don't feel comfortable with it. But your T-shirts are really good.
But where I was going with all of that, as we rabbit trailed it like we normally do,
usually
was the fact that it was 85 degrees on Saturday, and now the high tomorrow, which is going to be Tuesday, is like 60.
I know, and I heard tomorrow night
it's supposed to get down into the 30s.
It's on the 30s, which it is fantastic.
Oh, I love it.
Fantastic. I'm going camping. We do this thing called Dream Team. There's 13 friends of ours that I met over there at college. And we've been camping. This will be our 21st year.
Oh, that's cool.
That we've been camping. We're
That's
going to
really
North
cool.
Georgia and stuff like that. So
Up to Blue Ridge?
no, Blue Ridge. We go to oh my God, Clayton, Georgia.
Oh, yeah. Up in Rabun County.
There you go. That's exactly it.
Hey, look, man.
You're from there.
5 years of my life up there in North Georgia.
It's beautiful stuff though. So we go to Woman War Road or something like that. Anyway, so it is pretty good. But last year, this is the first year we went camping. It was like a week before Thanksgiving. Never make this mistake again.
Oh, no.
It went down to like maybe high 20s.
Oh, it gets cold up there,
But
man.
it was so cold. The keeper, I took keeper on it, which by the way, we have a guest today. He's kind of quiet. What's his name? Do we have a name for this guy?
I don't know, but he permanently breathes with his mouth open.
I feel bad for the guy, and he has a terrible breath. So
bad.
anyway, so we took him, and it was so cold that everything froze. It was pretty good. And I was like, I'm not coming again. So we're going 2 weeks, so hopefully it's not that cold.
All right, so you have to visit my favorurt store
Okay, which
up in
is
Clayton. It's called Wander, North Georgia.
okay.
And it's kind of an outdoor
I've
shop.
seen it. It's towards
So-
the you go uphill.
Yeah, I mean it's right there on the main
Yeah,
on the main
yeah,
drag there in
I've been
Clayton.
there,
Super cool place. Multiple stories actually in it. There's there's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, my thing there whenever I go is I have to get a pair of socks. So they
Really?
have all like the wild socks.
Yeah.
But I mean they just have. I mean essentially it was them, and this is like their third storefront now. They used to be in this tiny little store, like across the street. And I found them one day, like right when I moved there, because I didn't know anybody when I moved up to North Georgia.
Yeah.
And so I would just go on drives. So
Oh,
I ended
that's
up in
fun,
Clayton.
though.
I
That's
ended up
fun.
in Clayton one day and found this little tiny store. And I was like, this is dope.
This
Like,
is awesome.
Like they do, hoodies and shirts
Yeah.
and hats and then the rest of it is just like the owners. They're like, oh, I like that. We're just gonna sell it in our store. And so it's like, well,
That's awesome.
but it's
That's
cool
awesome.
stuff
Matt Beer has a sticker.
from Wonder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. It's pretty good. So and actually one of our favorites now is becoming a tradition. I'm sure you ate there. It's called Sunday Diner.
Yeah.
So they have pancakes. They're like this size, everything. So we go there now. We meet there Friday morning, eat some brunch or something like
nice.
that, and then we'll go up. But we do primitive camping.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's pretty good.
You also, if y'all like donuts, there's a donut shop there in Clayton that does like the custom handmade donuts.
Really?
So they take the donuts, they'll just bake a bunch of just plain ones,
Yeah.
and then you pick like the glaze, fruit toppings, chocolate toppings. So like they'll make like a cookies and cream or a peach pie or apple pie.
Speaking of peach pie and apple pie, have you tried? That's one of the things that I love. Peach, obviously Georgia, but that ice cream. I mean, the Chick-fil-A milkshake that is peaches.
Oh yeah,
Oh my goodness, that is.
and it's
good,
gone
though.
now.
What do you mean it's gone?
It's only a summer thing.
What?
Yeah. And they're like the Girl Scouts. They give us this awesome thing And then they dangle it in front of you for a few months.
Yeah,
and then
I think it's delicious though. I didn't know. I don't think it was seasonal.
Yeah, you
Peaches are not seasonal. Are they seasonal?
for good ones. And then you get to the end of the summer, and then they're like, hey, "You'll never get this. You'll never get this." La la. So
yeah, so we're excited about that. How about I'm just hungry right now. I wish I was like some kind of dessert or something. I like sweets. Sweets are good.
sweets are good.
But the
too.
strawberry also strawberry. I just got strawberry sometime recently. That's not seasonal.
Nah, strawberries are definitely seasonal.
What?
Well, okay. When I say seasonal, I'm specifically talking like U.S. So, like, obviously, when the prime time to grow them here is, if you're down in like Chile,
Yeah.
which is the opposite season,
Yeah.
it's not prime time.
Yeah.
So when they're not in season here, prime time down there. So I guess they're always in season somewhere.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll tell you what. One of the things I learned about Chile, I was there one time. Somebody was brave enough and invited me to go and do a talk for some students in there. That was pretty fun. Man, we went there when it was winter
Wait, y'all went where?
to Chile. We were like,
Was it?
Santiago was
Chile?
like Chile. It's we flew to Santiago, Chile, and then we drove like 3 hours somewhere up the mountains. But it was pretty cold.
Yeah.
Like I learned as a trick, somebody was like, just put a warm bottle of an Nalgene bottle with you
Yeah, like in your.
and just hug it. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing ever. It was not.
And then you got cold enough, and you were like, "That sounds wonderful."
This is delicious though. So yeah, I'm excited about we're getting cold weather. I don't like hot weather, even though I'm from Mexico. People always say like, "But you're from Mexico. You should love the hot weather."
Yeah, that doesn't mean I like it.
Yeah, but or they don't know that Mexico is so high in altitude.
I was about to say, I feel
grew
like
up, but it was always like 70s, maybe 80s.
yeah,
and
so
that
it's
was
not really
perfect.
hot.
No, that's right. It was awesome. So that's the kind of weather that I grew up with.
Well, and so like it's funny because you're gonna experience for the first time when we're down in the Dominican. You know, you would think like if we get to go to a beach one day.
Yeah.
This blew my mind the first time that I went to a beach in the Dominican because they're not like what we picture beaches as.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you go to Panama City or you go over to like St. Simon's Island. No. You go here and it's like, I mean, it's an island. So,
Yeah, that's right.
And it's a legitimate Caribbean island.
Yeah.
So you literally have like palm trees and other massive like trees all the way up to the sand.
Yeah.
And it creates all this shade, and there's like shops back in there,
That's right,
and like food shacks, and all the Dominicans, none of them are laying out on the beach. They're all in the shade.
The palapas.
Yeah, so they're either like sitting around the shops and the food places, or they are like right on the edge of. They're in the sand, but there's enough of an overhang from all the trees. And it's funny because the first time I asked them, and they were like, "What? It's always hot." And so when I'm in my town or village or wherever they live, and I come to the beach, why would I want to stay in the sun?
That's right. That's right. So all the white people are just over there. They're like, this is fantastic.
Yeah. So like the only time they get in the sun is when they run out to the water. And so it's just funny. It's just funny to me.
Yeah, like beach in Mexico. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty similar though. But speaking of that, did you see that big hurricane that hit the coast of Mexico?
No.
I think it was called Otis. I think it was Otis hurricane. Let's see. Yeah, so OTIS, Otis.
Okay.
This is sad. They said there are about 40 plus people dead, and they saw this. It's pretty cool. Like, no, so sorry. It's not cool that people die, but what I'm pretty glad is of technology. You can see things coming live. So the hurricane, like with all these stuff, they're like, hey, you know, the hurricane is gonna come in. It's gonna land around 12:55 a.m.
Okay.
Well, they didn't count his nature, and it show up like 40 minutes earlier. because he took over. So he hit. Like if you look at images of like the port when it hit to when it passed, it was category 5.
Right.
It destroyed all the resorts that were by the beach.
Oh, wow.
And then like on the sides, there were all these villages. I was just talking to my mom about this. And she was like, yeah. I was like, well, at least it was just only like hotels. And my mom was like, no, it was not only hotels. There was like all these other villages in there. So you look at it and it's pretty sad though. So thoughts and prayers to those guys. And have you ever been in like, we just kind of talk a little bit. I'd like if you want to share a little bit that story about you being on the tornado, pretending to be a tornado chaser.
Well, okay. So, but yeah, before I do that, fun fact about the Gulf of Mexico. That's where I was baptized.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What was it like? Where was it in the U.S.?
No. So in Mexico. That's what I was saying. Like,
really?
Yeah. So we were in. So I think what a lot of people don't realize, Mexico is split up into states.
Yep.
Like it's
32 states.
they're not the United States, but
we also call ourselves the United States, by the way.
of Mexico.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. Well, see, there you go. See, we were arrogant, and we were like, we're the United States
We're
of
the
America.
we're on the United States, which we're not united, but
We know this whole continent is America, but our
that's not
country is
true.
going to
That's
be
true.
America.
That's true.
No, we were in the state of, is it Tamaulipas?
Tamaulipas. Oh yeah! Wow! Yeah.
So we were in Tamaulipas, and I can't remember exactly where we were. The missions people that we went with, I was 16.
Yeah.
We entered like around Matamoros,
Yeah.
which is a wild place for people that don't know.
Yeah. Well, right now, that's a place that it's a no go. Right.
Yeah, because that's down there around Brownsville.
Yeah, that's right.
And so Matamoros
Bitty bitty bam bam.
is one of like 2 or 3 national trash dumps for Mexico. And you learn these things as we're going through. And I think granted, this was in 2006. The population was over 1 million people.
Oh, okay.
In the dump.
That's right.
Like people lived there. And so anyway, that's where we came through. And I can't remember. I want to say the name of the town we were in was Aldama.
Aldama. Yeah, I never
But I
been in
don't know.
Tamaulipas before. Like it's always been one of those places they're like, that's kind of touchy, kind of
Really?
going in there. It's a bit dangerous. You know the right people to go in and stuff like that. But you mentioned Brownsville, and I just thought about this. You know this one?
I don't.
Bitty bitty bam bam.
Oh no.
So this chick is named Selena. S-E, like Selena Gomez.
Oh, okay.
She's original. She's from around there, and she got killed by her manager.
In
It's a big deal.
Tamaulipas?
Maybe her,
Or in Matamoros.
maybe no. She got killed in Texas,
Oh.
but she was from around there. Like her family was around there. And actually, Jennifer Lopez created that song, that movie based on this lady.
Really?
Selena. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, that's the only thing I know about. That's what I say. Bitty bitty bam bam.
The only thing I know about that area is I know the closest big town to where we were that I even knew the name of was Monterey.
Monterey. Yeah, no, that's nice.
And
Monterey is nice.
fun fact about Monterey,
Yeah.
that is where the first ever international Little League team won the World Series. They came from Monterey.
Oh, where'd it go, Mexicans?
Yeah.
Mexico has an awesome little league.
And
Yeah.
during that Little League World Series, in the final, the pitcher from Monterey threw I don't know if it's still the only, but it was definitely the first at the time, perfect game.
For Little League. Way to go, Mexicans. That's awesome. Yeah. So like Little League is it's huge here in Georgia. Warner Robins is always there.
They're always there. Yeah.
So, and I do like watching the Little League baseball.
Oh, it's
It's pretty funny.
I say it's like watching college football. Probably
It is.
College football is starting to get more and more feeling like the pros because of all the
Well, I was gonna say it's pretty funny because that's what's happening. Like there was a documentary right now of a team from New York, Little League. They were cheating because they were recruiting like crazy.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning, they're supposed to be like only people from X amount of neighbor, and they start recruiting everywhere, and they dominated everybody.
Was this an old team?
I think so. I mean, this is about 5, 7, 8 years ago.
Okay. So, there was a team from Brooklyn, the Bronx. I don't remember. Obviously one of the boroughs in New York. But they had a pitcher, and I'm pretty sure I was in like high school or something when this happened. This kid's name was Danny Almonte. And
Danny.
I mean, he was throwing like 79, 80 miles an hour as like a 12-year-old. And I mean, was just blowing everybody away.
Rookie of the year again, brother.
But the problem was, I mean, they didn't really have much after him. So they ended up not winning the whole thing because
they had rules though, right? They have like,
yeah, you can only pitch so many.
Yeah, that's right.
And so once he was done, they didn't really have much behind him.
Sorry.
But turns out, kid was like 17 years old. And they had forged his birth certificate.
Of course they did. I tell you what, so I have this experience. Like the first time Madison was trying to play soccer, and she wanted to do rec. We're like, okay, that's a good, let's do rec. And so we hear about tryouts. And I was like, that's what tryouts? I was like, it's rec. I'm very confused. Know that I came up from playing soccer, and I was like, I'm thinking about these tryouts.
Like academy and trials.
That's right. I was like, these got to be great.
Yeah.
And it was just everybody just assigned a number anyway. So just they rate you, right? They rank you on those.
Yeah, except I don't know where you're going with this. All I know is tryouts for rec league are the most rigged.
But I didn't know that. And that's what I'm going. That's exactly what I'm going
on.
And I'm thinking like, there's not many people there. I mean, there's about like 80 to maybe 90 kids.
Yeah.
But there's like 15 teams. And I'm thinking like, how many? And they're like, oh, there's about like 9 teams. I mean, 9 players per team.
Yeah, what are we going to play, 4-on-4?
And I'm like, what is this though? It's not adding up. And so what they find out is that, I mean, their rank is 1 through 5. 5 is the best.
Okay.
If you don't show up, they give you 1. So then...
And then the coaches pick kids based on number?
That's correct.
So if a coach knows a kid...
And that's exactly what happened.
Well, they have a 1.
That's
and so
exactly what happens. That's right. So they will just... We felt pretty strong because I was coaching... Right. And I was like, we feel good on this. I was like,
oh, that team got all 1s.
I know. And then suddenly that team started destroying them. I was like, yeah, look at Daddy. Hey, man, let me help you a little bit. You need to pick a little 2 or 3. The guy was like, no, I'm good. I picked the number 1 right here. And I was like,
so frustrating.
I was making fun of that. But yeah, that's what happens though.
So that happened to me. And the reason that's funny that that's where it went. When I was in like Little League baseball, tryouts were the same way. So you would go and they would kind of not examine you, but like coaches would watch. And so we played like 9 and 10-year-olds, and then we did 11 and 12-year-olds. So this was like for the 11 and 12-year-old league. And there was a guy that had wanted me. Oh, now it's your turn to make noise. So there was a guy that wanted me on his team to coach, and because me and his son had become friends and stuff. Yeah. And his son was a left-handed pitcher, one of the most dominant, and I was
pretty good. I want to say that.
I was the most dominant right-handed pitcher in the league. And so
that was a pretty big deal.
He came to me. This is like the first time that I've ever had like an ethical dilemma, I think, in my life, because he comes up to me and he goes, all right, Matthew, when you go to tryouts, I need you to just, I need you to throw it. I need you to just mess up.
Go left.
Like, don't, if they ask you to pitch super slow.
No.
Throw balls.
No.
Yes. And I was just like.
You do it.
I did. Because I wanted to play with my friend, man.
It's like.
And then we
starts going there. Everyone's like, go ahead and give this kid now.
Well, the funny part is if any of the coaches had seen me the previous 2 years, they knew. They were like,
yeah, this guy. But so think about this. So
but
everybody
anyway.
knows, and yet No one does.
No one says
thing.
anything.
And you're like, it's just rec. So then I start getting pretty involved as usual. Like I start helping, then I get really involved.
But we won the league 2 years in a row.
And that's what happens though. So I was telling them, I was like, guys, we need to change this, right? Like, let's just pick right now. Everybody knows what everybody is.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just make only 2 or 3 players, good players per team.
Yeah.
That way the games are better. Or just go ahead and split the league with the ones that are pretty strong. Just put them in one category, and then they're like, we can do that.
So you have like Serie A and Serie B for
you can, because it makes sense. Like you have teams that are beating you like 9-0,
And look,
and you don't grow.
no,
As
and there's
nobody
nothing
grows.
more frustrating as a kid. You can't tell a kid, oh, you learned something from that 9-0 loss.
No one. The guy that scores 9 goals does not learn anything.
No,
And the kid that gets scored
9 goals on him.
They don't learn.
All they know is I had the worst time out there. I hate this sport,
That's right. And they live.
and that's why the U.S. stinks at soccer.
That's right. That's exactly it. But anyway, so that's what I was like. That's it. And then I got involved into refereeing, and somebody wanted to fight me, and I was like, dude, this is people are getting too ridiculous on this, dude.
Look, okay, when I started off in student ministry, first church I ever worked at was my home church, and I was part-time. And what that means is I was part-time and paid, not in hours.
That's right. That's right.
And so I was like, I need something on like Saturday, something big on Saturday to do to make up a little bit extra money. So I started working for our local, I guess here it's called Upward.
Yeah.
In Murfreesboro, we had like our own, and it was called One Goal. And so on Saturdays, I was in charge of all the soccer fields.
Okay.
And so I was in charge of the referees, of making sure like everything at the concession stand was good to go and all that kind of stuff. Breaking up fights if they happen. Let me tell you, man, look, there ain't nothing worse than putting a bunch of Christians together in a sports league and having them play each other.
It's crazy.
I had to kick out. I mean, I had to look at parents that like there were kids in some of our youth groups.
Yeah, you're
and I was
like, are you gonna really do
know
this?
you,
Yeah, that's right.
and this is really awkward that I'm having to kick you out of this like area right now because you just cussed at a referee.
That's it.
At a
it's
Christian
crazy.
sports organization.
It is.
Rec leagues everywhere. Like
Maybe we need to go back to that part, but yeah.
Well, I'll cut it up.
But anyway, so that's when you know, like, if it is too small of a community or too big of a community, chances are you're gonna see that person you just curse
Yeah.
in a restaurant, in a school, a workplace, somewhere you're gonna lead with these people, and it's just the sport that is rec. What are you gonna win? Nothing.
My favorite one. Oh my goodness. And this is one, normally it was one of my referees in between a game or something would come over and say, hey, there was this incident. I need you to go talk to this person. Yeah. So I go do it. This one, I happened to be like standing on the edge of the field watching this game because some of the games got really good.
Yeah.
Like some of the like 13, 14-year-olds, like there's some good players. And so I was watching one of them, and the coach for one of the teams also happened to be one of the board members for One Goal Sports. And I don't remember if there was like there was a missed call or a bad call, and he didn't like it, which is a whole nother issue because having to listen to parents that don't know soccer rules.
Oh, no. Or any other sport.
Right. Well,
And they think like little Tommy is their best player ever.
And I want to look at him. I want to look at him.
Little
and go,
Tommy's not that good.
just because little Tommy got knocked over doesn't mean it's a foul. It just means your child is half the size.
That's right. Of the 19, 12, 18-year-old, 12-year-old kid in there.
Right. And so, if they run into each other, your child's going to fall down. Hey, my boss is calling me. Sorry, Paul. I'll call you back in a second. And so something happened like that, and somebody got mad, and he dropped off a string of expletives. I'm standing right there. Like, there's no denying it.
Yeah,
There's
that's
no
right,
like,
that's right.
oh, I didn't actually say it.
That's right. I didn't mean to.
And so I walked over to him and I was like,
You're done.
do I even have to say it? And he's like, do you know who I am? I pulled that.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
And that's
right.
what makes it even worse.
That's right,
That I'm about
that's
to
right.
have to escort you out of here.
Oh, man.
And he was like, oh, I'm going to have you fired and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, please do. Please do.
This is the crazy
Make
part, though.
my day. Please fire me.
It's crazy. Again, if it was, this is when you understand, like, so I was refereeing, right? And it hit me. Like, maybe I was one of the parents that was like, hey, ref, or when I was a coach, I'd be like, coach, ref, that's not it. You're in a nice way, kind of say it like, hey, they just call it. But then sometimes we have like high schoolers refereeing, and I know that there's not many volunteers, so we have a referee like a 13, 14, 15-year-old refereeing, and you're like, hey, come here, let me teach you something. You coach them, right? And they'll be like, okay, that's okay, I get it, but next time, let's just get ready. Well, when I was refereeing, you see the parents going after you, and you start thinking like, this is just a game. Like, and this is not worth it. And then this person was like,
I was about to say, like, I'm getting paid $15 for this game.
I know where you live. I'm going to get you. And I was like, nope, I'm done. And at that point, I called the rec and I was like, listen up. This person her name was this stuff. She drove this car. She told me this stuff and I am done. I'm not coming back. And I never came back because of one person.
Yeah.
Right. And then because this awesome community, the next time we start playing tennis, Madison was playing tennis. They're like, hey, man, just backing you up. That lady was crazy and stuff like that. You're like, okay, no, thank you. But you get scared of.
And look, let me tell you, as a kid who grew up in youth sports, like, it's embarrassing for us.
Yeah, that's right.
When parents do that. Like, I'm so grateful that my parents were not like that. Now, they would yell at me every once in a while, but not like just either encouragement or I don't know. They never yelled at me if I missed something.
Yeah,
my parents were really good about that. But I had friends whose parents were the ones that, like, they were known to ones that got kicked out all the time or would just constantly.
I remember playing basketball one time when I was in senior of high school. Like these gringos invited me to start playing basketball with them, so I was with them. And this guy was really good. I'm not gonna mention his name just in case, but he was really good. And suddenly he started crying, and his dad, like you can tell, his dad wanted him.
LeBron James was crying.
His dad wanted him to be like always perfect.
Right.
And he took him from like he just grabbed his jersey, took him like this somewhere, closed the door.
What?
And all you heard was this guy crying so loud that you thought that there was something going on in there. We're like,
oh man,
just feel bad for these guys. Or just like, I know you say you don't watch Formula One, but Max Verstappen is a big old baby, but he's leading. He's pretty good, but he says something pretty crazy like his dad always put pressure on him, and he's seen his dad like stabbing somebody when he was really mad with a fork.
What?
Because he was mad.
He was that mad.
And he was like, next time I'm going to do that to you. That's the kind of pressure that these people go through sometimes. Hey, by the way, speaking of pressure, I'm just going to jump to another one. Coach Prime lost again.
You know.
But did you see what happened? I think I sent you this article. Did you check it? UCLA versus Colorado State.
Colorado.
Colorado. They're playing in California.
And they stole all the Colorado players' jewelry. I mean, theft is not funny. But
how bad is California now? The UCLA, it's a pretty nice school.
I mean, the Rose Bowl is like one of the premier. It's supposed to be one of the premier places to play. Like, so you want to play in the Rose Bowl game. So
they show up after they lost, obviously. And they're like defeated. They're like, oh man, it was a terrible game. They played horrible.
Yeah, and the video you showed me, they were like, well, they took your chain. Yeah, man, my chain gone. My chain's gone. And I'm like,
so the whole time I was thinking, I was like, they were going after Prime's chains, man.
He said, man, you come here to play football, you expect your stuff to be safe. That's what he said. And I was like, well, I mean, That's fair.
But
Hey, maybe don't take expensive jewelry.
I don't know. But again, it's just bling bling. But how bad is California right now? I've been watching all these videos of like people when they park, they have to open their trunks, leave their windows down so they don't get smashed.
So they just don't get smashed, but leave nothing in the car. Hopefully,
crazy though.
You couldn't pay me to live there.
That or now I was watching this other one. This lady went to like a Dollar General, and she's like with her like 11-year-old daughter, and then she start pouring like all like laundry stuff and detergents and stuff like that,
And just walked out.
and then these girls like I think she's gonna walk out, and she starts recording her, and like this lady just walks out,
Because they're not going to do
and then
anything.
outside she's like, "Hey, you're stealing." She pulls a gun on her purse. She's like, "Hey, if you do something," and then she just went like sideways kind of style, and then like whoa.
I can't remember where I saw it. It was in California somewhere, and it was a Walgreens. They now don't put any of their stock out on the shelves, so they expanded the building behind it.
Oh, that's
Keep it
brilliant.
all in a warehouse locked up,
And they just
and there's
call
a
it-
picture out on the shelf, and
That's
it tells you if it's in
brilliant.
stock, and you have to get
That's
an
good.
associate to go get it and bring it to you.
And then he gets mugged or she gets mugged on the way back. But you know, you've seen it. Where are we going with this? Like you see, like San Francisco has shut down all these good stores because they can keep up because
Yeah, people
people
are
keep
leaving.
stealing. Portland is one of the ones. Like REI is a great store. They shut down their first or whatever the big store in REI because people go and steal. And they're going online. I'm sure everybody in the online business is like, yeah, keep up going.
Yeah, please.
But it's pretty sad. Like you go into places and then there's still anything, or they even still chains in football games, and they're just football. But anyway, so what you got this week going on? Let's just talk any fun stuff on facts you have.
No, I think. Okay, here's a question I've been wanting to ask you. We haven't done a top 5.
Okay, let's talk top 5.
All right, and you talked about being hungry earlier. So if you had to give me your top 5 restaurants,
Top 5
what would they
restaurants.
be? And they don't have to be. Look, they can be places that we've never heard of. They can be. It doesn't have to be fast food or like anything you want.
All right, I think top 5. Oh, one of them. It is not in order, but Fogo de Chao. You like Fogo de Chao? Brazilian
Been
steakhouses.
one time.
It's fantastic.
wonderful.
Fantastic place. I love that place. So I think that's one of them.
It's on them.
I would say like here in the States, obviously. I would say like I know this is good and it's just local, but I forgot the name. It was so good. I forget the name of it. The Mexican place is called
Rio Grande.
Rio Grande. Yeah, that's good. I like that one. How do y'all go from Rio Grande to Fogo de Chao? That's a pretty big jump.
That's a big jump. All right. Well, so here's a couple of mine.
Tell me.
There is a 2 of them are going to be Murfreesboro places.
Okay.
One is called Opaz.
Opaz. That sounds Greek.
It is. It's a Greek Mediterranean place
Opa!
owned by my Christian brother Isaac,
Oh, that's awesome.
who is from Egypt.
Oh, wow. Some gyros.
Grew up as a shepherd, like legitimate
Wow.
out in the field shepherd.
Dude, that is awesome. That's their lamb in there again. Wow.
Yep. And in fact, for a little bit, he was one of the pastors at the Arabic church in Murfreesboro.
Really? Wow.
And maybe that's part of why I love it.
Maybe you
every
need to
time
go
I
there one time,
I just
though.
love talking to him. And,
Yeah.
And every time I walked in, he goes, "Oh, Pastor Matthew."
That's awesome, though.
Ah, Brother Isaac.
That's
And so it's
awesome.
I just love it. But then the food is just
Yeah. So the whole
Incredible.
atmosphere. Yeah. So atmosphere has a lot of things to do with food,
absolutely.
right? Well, and then when the food is fantastic, it's just like a home run.
yeah.
But yeah, so we need to go. Tiffany loves gyros.
Oh, it's
And lamb is
they're
really
so
good. So that's one of them. Then you say there was
Yeah,
another
and then
one?
the other one is a place called Clearview.
Clearview Chapel.
Spelled KLEER
Oh.
dash VU. Clearview. It's called Clearview Cafeteria. It is a like meat and 3 like Southern food style
Really?
place in not the best part of Murfreesboro, let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, that's nice.
But the lady that owns it, and she's owned it for years.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Oh, man, that's awesome. There used to be a place, they don't have it anymore in Atlanta. It was Cuban food. I love Cuban
I
food.
do love Cuban food.
I think it's called Las Palmas or something like that. It was really good. Tiff and I would we love that place. And there was another place called Cool Corners. It was the best Cuban sandwiches in town.
I do love Cuban sandwiches.
That was pretty good. And I haven't found a good place for Cuban sandwiches around here. Have you?
I need to take you to Blairsville.
We need to go. We need to take that one in. That's awesome.
But one of the, like, Clearview, man, we're talking like fried chicken,
Really?
turkey and dressing. I mean, just collard greens, turnip greens, mac and cheese, okra,
I need to tell you this story.
mashed potatoes, sweet potato, hot water cornbread. Have you ever had a thing called hot water cornbread?
No. What is that?
I need some now.
I'm gonna.
I mean, it just peach cobbler.
That's good.
They make killer peach, and then their sweet tea.
Oh, sweet tea is good.
Like the sweet tea that's going to be served in heaven is made right there at Clearview.
Right next to Mana. Do you think we're gonna have Mana in
Yeah,
heaven?
it's going to be hot water cornbread.
Hey, so I took these coworkers. This guy there, he's an African American guy. He's pretty funny. So he's never had sushi in his life. Okay.
Okay.
So we went and got sushi, and the guy's pretty good just trying sushi. He did great. But we start talking about collard greens, and he said, "Have you ever ate collard greens?" And I was like, I mean, usually Matt, you guys remember Matt?
Yeah.
He cooks them for like New Year's Eve.
Right.
He puts like collard greens and like
Usually have beans and
It says sweet
cornbread.
peas. Yeah, it's cornbread.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, once. And he goes,
Oh, no. Am I going to have to edit this? You know it's good when Jorge starts laughing before he even says it.
he goes, look, what? Just once a year? And I said, yeah.
Just once
He goes, not in my house.
not in my...
It's like 3 times a week. He goes,
look, man.
that thing is for black people. And he's like, collard greens. He goes, collard greens are like 3 or 4 times a week. And so then he turns around to another black girl. He's like, hey, how often you eat collard greens in your home? And she goes, at least 3 times a week.
Look, man. I love me some collard greens.
Collards, crazy though.
Collards and turnips, man. All day long.
I love that one. That guy, he loves that. So maybe you do edit this because
Look, man. I'm one of those like, I mean, good food is good food.
yeah, get
I don't care who makes it.
good food with good company.
Yes.
And the atmosphere is like something that you cannot pass. Like you can go to one of like okay restaurants, but you got a good company and the atmosphere is great.
Yeah.
It is fantastic.
Well, like so they're at Clearview. So one of the big things that was always so like I played high school football.
yeah.
And so when we moved to Murfreesboro, that was one of the first places that my dad heard about. And he's like, Matthew, we got to go. And I was like, yeah, sure. So we go. And so it became a staple for us, but it was always the Saturday after high school games. That was kind of mine and his thing. So we'd always go and eat lunch. Well, when you go to a place for like 15 years straight, it don't matter what, like you're pretty much family with.
That's right. That's right.
And so when Dad passed, when I was back in town for the funeral, that was like one of the first places I went.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I'm going through the line, and the owner sees me, and she's like, "Oh, hey, how's everybody doing?" And I said, "Well, I just wanted to come tell you, we lost Dad and all that." And man, she immediately like face sank. She came flying around the counter.
Oh, wow.
Wrapped me up in a hug, and so she saw the food that I was getting. I was taking it home to Mom and Sister too. And I said, "How much do I owe you today?" She goes, "Honey, we take care of family around here."
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
That is fantastic.
Like those are the kind of places that I want.
That's good. Yeah,
I want to patronize.
Not
patronize.
No.
Yeah, isn't that the word?
Yeah. No, yeah, I think patronize is good. No,
Because I'm a patron.
Yeah, you're a patron, but I don't know if you can say patronize. I don't know.
Patronize would be the bad one.
So sorry.
Those are the places that I want to go and support. And spend my money in.
Because again, those are the places that you want your kids or your family or friends to experience that, right? Like when you bring somebody new and that's like to me what what's the Mexican place again here? Rio Grande is.
Yeah, it was the first place you took me.
Yeah, so it's like this lady was like, anything you want me to cook, I cook for you.
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty awesome. The food I think is great, but it's just more like the atmosphere that I get to speak to someone in Spanish.
Chilaquiles.
And it's so good. No, I mean it's good stuff though. So that's pretty good. I want to take my parents there.
So you talking about Cuban food. So
Yeah.
one of my favorite places in Blairsville, where I lived for 5 years, up in North Georgia. So you wouldn't think a town with 4 stoplights would have 3 either Cuban/Venezuelan/Puerto Rican places.
Well, hold on. Puerto Rican food is
3
terrible,
of them.
but anyway, I'm just joking. That's a joke.
It was Puerto Rican/Cuban.
Okay.
Because the
Venezuelan, I hear Venezuelan is good food.
Oh man, that was at Lala's.
Well, do you guys have a big like Puerto Rican community in their
Union
Cuban
County?
You never know.
But it's like 97% white.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's in the top 10 whitest counties in the country.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy, though.
So there's this. So this guy's name's Dan.
Yeah.
From Cuba.
Lieutenant Dan.
Which is fun. Dan from Cuba.
Daniel. Come on, Dan.
And so he owns Dan's restaurant in Blairsville.
How can I name this restaurant Dan?
But man, their food
is good. I mean,
the churrasco.
Oh, there you go. Now you're talking. See,
with some chimichurri on top.
Chimichurri is Argentinian, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure somebody else can do it. So like, my parents live in Argentina for a while, so we went to visit them. It's really nice. Talking about like good food and cheap food.
Oh, I bet.
My goodness, the steaks over there is like you were eating butter, and I didn't understand why. But if you look at Argentina, it's pretty flat.
Okay.
So the cows don't have
Their
much
muscles are relaxed.
And it is delicious. Like the food is just delicious. Yeah. You just go and stop in a shop or like a garage. They have like these asaderos or asados in there. Just go in there and just get you like little choripan, which is like it's very similar to pigs in a blanket kind of deal, right?
I love pigs in a blanket.
So you just go and like you just eat a little bit and you just put a little chimichurri. Oh my gosh, it's just fantastic.
One of my favorite things, and I don't know if this is a Hispanic thing or what. So my dad, his dad was a Baptist pastor, and his first church was down in Bradenton, Florida, which is right near Tampa.
Okay.
And Tampa has a huge Cuban population.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're like Ybor cities down there, and there's crab rolls.
Oh.
They're around like Tampa and Ybor City. Oh my goodness. It's like this, it looks like a big dragon egg, but it's like deep fried. And on the inside, it's literally basically just like the inside of a crab cake. Oh my goodness.
Seafood is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And people from Cuba and stuff like that, islands, they know how to make it. I took my staff to Miami last year, and we went. Miami is just great for Cuban food. We went to places and they really loved that. They were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so
I love
good."
plantains.
Plantains, yeah. Maduritos, yeah, that's right. That's good stuff. We used the plantains in Mexico. We put a lot of salsa in lemon.
Okay, hold on. So you just called them maduritos. So does that mean little plantains?
Little plantains, yeah.
I knew that because the
Itos.
Chicharito. Because so in Cuba,
yeah,
and in the Dominican, so like sweet plantains when they fry them up with like sugar and they're called maduros.
That's right.
So you just
you
call
can
them
maduros.
So you can do whatever
maduritos.
So you learn new things.
When you start, like, do you know how you start becoming fluent in Spanish? if you start adding itos to stuff like that. That's the deal. So maybe this time
That's
when we
my
go there,
favorito.
get it? It's my favorito. Matutito, Corquito. That's like kind of like stuff on it. Hey, listen to on this one. I have something for you real fast on things that people hear differently because the Spanish. Madison did ask that question. Like, do they speak Spanish in? Is it the same Spanish that they speak in Mexico that they speak in the Dominican? And I say yes, but it's just an accident. It's just an accent different. All right, I'm gonna play to you. You know, have you heard this before?
So I think what you're about to. Now that you're saying this, I remember because they do like a list of like 10 different things that you can hear.
Yeah, that's right.
And literally all it is whatever you're reading.
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty much is what you're hearing.
That's right. Okay, here goes. First
all right.
What are they saying?
I mean, I heard something like that is embarrassing.
Okay, listen to.
So, are you sure you don't hear rotating pirate ships?
Rotating pirate ships.
I can hear it.
Do you hear, that isn't my receipt?
That's in my receipt.
English people, man.
This is the power of suggestion. Just maybe you're hearing Bart Simpson bouncing.
And it goes on. There's like 10 of them.
I love it though. I look at that and I was like, this is so great because I heard every single word.
Yeah, this
is embarrassing. That's the first one I heard.
That's wild.
And this is not my receipt.
Whatever you happen to be reading.
This is in my receipt.
That's like the Green Needle. That one. There's like two different things.
Green Needle.
Yeah. Yeah. It just all depends on which one you're either have just been told or you're like looking at.
I know.
Yeah.
It has a name of that.
It's
one.
wild.
It's pretty crazy. Hey, speaking
so
of wild news, and I know I'm jumping into this. We've been debating do we talk about this or not, but it's wild.
Well, okay. We'll just mention two things.
Just do a little warning right here. Can we just put a little warning stuff on it just in case?
No, I mean the big news over the weekend. Two just big
sad news.
Yeah. So if you're a Friends fan,
no,
we lost Matthew Perry. And so I mean that's always, especially if you've grown up watching a show and so.
I know it's just sad though. Like
Matthew Perry.
So Matthew's like you start talking about like Matthew Perry and what he went through it. You don't want anybody to go through that stuff though, but he did. So there he is.
So if you're listening to this, hey, like real talk, real quick between us. If you're going through something right now, reach out.
You have to. You have to.
And I know that's not always easy. I've definitely been in low places in life, and it's tough to reach out, but. There is somebody that wants to help.
It is. It is there. And don't be embarrassed.
Like, and if you're watching this and you're like, Goody, I've never met you. I don't care. Yeah. Like,
reach out.
Somehow reach out to me. And
because it's key. Honestly, like the spiritual warfare there's seen there. My wife told me something that is so good. During the day, you can be okay because you're talking, everybody's good and everything. But when it's nighttime,
it's when you get by yourself.
It is you versus your mind.
Yep.
And the only way you can win that battle, I believe, is with Jesus Christ, but also with someone that you can rely to. Say like, hey, I need this, because it's a big battle. So do not take that for granted, for real. There's all this. I was telling this to Tiffany. This guy made millions of dollars. He was popular. You would think like he will have a lot of friends. The funny thing is it's not the friends, but he will have a lot of friends. He will have people all the time with him. But what I realized that money and fame, and he even said in one of his interviews, was not what he thought it was.
Yeah.
It was empty, right? So at that point, we talk about this to the community when you have a restaurant, when you feel great because of the atmosphere. Like you talk about the lady that just went out, asked the owner, and it's like, this is on us, this is family. This is what you need to reach out to someone.
Yeah.
And do not be embarrassed of like, what will people think?
Right.
just think, what will people say if I'm not here? Then that is huge to me.
Yeah.
So that was pretty sad. I just feel terrible for this guy. I mean, I don't even know it, but watching Friends for so long, and then like we just heard that on Saturday night, and I mean, it was pretty devastating. We have to talk to our two girls about that. You have to reach out to people.
Yep.
When you feel lonely. So do that one. And then, so that was a pretty bad one.
Yeah. And then the other big one. So, sports are always dangerous. Hockey's an especially dangerous sport. And sometimes accidents happen. This one, maybe not so much an accident, but anyway, there was a former NHL player who was
that was.
Hit.
I mean, it was hit. Yeah,
hit
it was
in the neck.
It was sad. I don't want to look at it because it's pretty sad. But again,
but passed away.
It passed
because of it.
And you think about this, because we talk about this. How do we approach this or not? But think about, this guy is someone's son.
Yep.
This guy is someone's brother or friend or something. So
was engaged.
I mean, it's just so life is short. So this is what I was telling Madison on the way here. Like, life is too short, and we all think that we're gonna be here until, like, I mean, you think about it. Like, I think, hopefully God calls me home when I'm like 87, 88. That'll be pretty good. And you kind of set up your plans. And I listened to this guy saying this very interesting. And the way he said it was like, what if it was like a meeting when the devil is there and it's like, how can we do this stuff? And they start lying to people, saying like, well, we should just hide ourselves and make ourselves look like we're not that bad and stuff like that. Anyways, it's a long story, but he says, which I agree with this person saying, what if we just put a mindset of the humans that you are here forever?
I've always got more time.
Yeah. So,
it's not always true.
I'm not going to make that call. I'm not going to make the call to apologize to somebody. I'm not going to make a call to say I was wrong. I'm not going to make a call knowing that the other person was wrong and me saying, hey, I want to keep this relationship. Or I'm not going to make a call to say, like, I do believe that Jesus is real and give my life, because I'm always have tomorrow.
Yeah.
The question is, what if you don't have that tomorrow, right?
Yep.
And so again, it's like, I know we talk about Borderless Banter and all that kind of stuff in this, but I think this is important, just like we talk about this weekend, things that happened this weekend. Reaching out is great. Finding a relationship. I was talking to somebody when they're like, oh, you have a setup here. What do you guys talk about? I said, we talk about anything and everything.
Yeah.
But they were like, well, hopefully you can talk about Jesus. And I said, we talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like a serious note. Like, Jesus is great. I love being part of Jesus group. Jesus loves you. Like, Matthew, you have your hoodie in there. But that's the real life. If you don't have that relationship with him, I will encourage you to reach out to a person like Matthew right here, to a pastor or to your parents or to somebody and say that, yeah, I really need to talk about something else.
Yeah. I mean, because like, Jesus is how I make sense of the world. I mean, because if I had to go through this life and experience the things that I've experienced and see the things that we see, and I didn't think that there was more to it at the end, then just why?
Yeah.
I mean, and so there's just with Christ, there's just a hope that just doesn't exist without him.
You said hope. Hope is huge though, right? Like, I love this part of saying this, and I say this to somebody because I heard this and I love this. Let's just pretend that you and I believe that Jesus Christ is our Savior, that he came and he died for us and he's coming back. That's what I believe, right? Let's just pretend that that's not real.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we die. Then what happens if it's not real? Nothing. Nothing changed. But let's just...
Man, but what if it is?
If you live your whole life saying that it's not real, and then when you wake up from dead or whatever, and you're like, I missed everything. So that is... You don't lose anything if you start thinking about that stuff.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, it's just going to be like, we want to try to make this, spin it a little bit into like the nice side of it. There's a lot of things we can do. You can see like Goody having fun. He's a great guy, obviously a pastor, but I mean, we can talk about everything, right?
Yeah.
But when this weekend happens, when all these two terrifying news are there, we often happen to think like, well, you know, how do you approach that? And I'm just approaching thinking, my two girls asked me, they're like, you think Matthew Perry was a Christian? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I hope so.
I can't make that call.
I mean, I hope he did. And nobody will know that until you decide yourself to accept him or not. You can lie all you want.
Yeah.
And inside of you, you will say, I don't believe, but if you know him, that's what matters.
Yep.
Is that cool?
I love it.
I think this is good. Maybe we'll just finish it on that one right there. Just saying that yo tengo un amigo que me ama.
Me ama, me ama. Yo tengo un amigo que me ama.
Su nombre es Jesús. Woo, woo.
Adios, friends. Salana eum Isis. Love y'all. Peace.
That was awesome. That was so good.